The New York Knicks are NBA champions in 2026, and it sounds insane to be able to say that in my lifetime, but not everybody was sold on Jalen Brunson when he first came to New York.
They're well coached. They're going to be on their defensive game. But at the end of the day, they don't have a dude. You got to have a dude. You got to have a 1A dude. And they're missing that at the end of the day if we're just getting down to brass taxes.
Now, contrary to popular belief, Becky Hammon wasn't the only one thinking like this. You got to figure Kevin Durant, Kawhi Leonard, Kyrie Irving, Giannis, other stars around the NBA are available, and it kind of seems like Jalen Brunson is the consolation prize. Granted, he had all-star potential, but we didn't get to see that often because he's playing next to Luka Doncic. So what do you do when a guy has all-star potential and we haven't seen it yet? You build around him to see if you can take this all-star potential and turn him into a 1A, a finals MVP that we have right now. You go and get the steal of the trade block when you swap RJ Barrett quickly in a second rounder for OG Anunoby, Achua, and Michael Flynn. Now, this deal didn't seem to make sense at the time, but you got to figure OG can still come in and be a really solid defender next to Jalen Brunson. The deal makes even more sense in June of 2024 when you acquire Mikal Bridges from the Brooklyn Nets. Aside from the panic of trading 4 unprotected firsts, another protected first, an unprotected pick swap, along with another second-round pick, people love this deal. Obviously, that's sarcasm, considering it was brought up in every single conversation about the New York Knicks up until 2 days ago. On paper, you see that they're building something. You put elite defenders around Jalen Brunson and allow him to carry you offensively, but there was still something missing. You needed a co-pilot. Someone that can go in there when Brunson is on the bench or not playing and still deliver the goods. Exit Julius Randle. You trade Randle and Dante DiVincenzo to the Minnesota Timberwolves for Karl Anthony Towns, a top 5 big in the league, a guy that can stretch the floor and score at all 3 levels, someone that's capable of 20 and 10 every single night. You still have Mitchell Robinson. You have Deuce McBride. You still have a good coach in Tom Thibodeau. Your first thought is that this team could actually beat Boston in the playoffs. That following season, that's exactly what they did, but they would ultimately lose to the Indiana Pacers in 6 games behind Tyrese Halliburton and Pascal Siakam. Going into the offseason, one thing was for sure, another thing was for certain. You had to get a new coach in the locker room because Tibbs lost the trust of the team in the playoffs. Then you had to build the bench, and that's exactly what they did. You bring in guys like Landry Shamet, who had a major impact versus the Cavaliers in the Eastern Conference Finals. Then you get Jose Alvarado, who put his stamps on the NBA Finals in the 29-point comeback in Game 4. Other pieces like Clarkson, McBride to bolster the bench. And the final piece of this puzzle was Mike Brown to replace a fired Tibbs. He was different. He held players accountable, but he held himself accountable as well. His thoughts on Karl Anthony Towns sums this up perfectly.
Like it is, you know, like it was. He's a great player. I come in with a plan. Maybe the plan doesn't work. Who adjusts, him or me? Me. I adjust. The adjustment's not enough. You know, every once in a while, we're not on the same page. We talk about it. I adjust again. A little bit better. He's feeling good. We talk about it. You know, maybe we take a couple of steps backwards because what I did, he doesn't like, which is fine. It's my job as a coach to fit whatever scheme work we have on both sides of the floor to all of our players. And if you're a great player, I got to make a little bit more adjustments, or I got to give a little bit more than you do. And we finally got to a point where he was comfortable, I was comfortable, Jalen was comfortable, OG was comfortable, Mikal was comfortable. And to me, that's what the regular season's about. The regular season is about finding your way so you can get prepared for this time of the year. And there's going to be a lot of ups and downs. And I hope there's adversity. I hope like hell there's adversity, because we have to see if we're strong enough when it comes to being connected to see if we can get through it during the regular season. So when we get here, anything we run into, we've already conquered during the regular season. We'll know how to handle it.
Now, those pieces were used to form a championship puzzle that could rival some of the best NBA Finals runs of the past 25 years. Their record can rival that of the 17-18 Warriors. Offensively, they were better. Defensively, they weren't exactly the 2001 Lakers, but they could stand toe-to-toe with the 2013 Heat. And yes, I know what you're thinking, but they didn't play nobody. The Lakers played against 4 50-win teams. Let's be fair. Everyone else in this list saw 2, including the New York Knicks. So every which way you try to discredit this team, it ain't gonna fly. Think about walking the Cavaliers down after trailing by 22 points with 8 left in the game. I've seen coaches sub their starters out in the same situation. Brunson didn't want to concede the dub. Rust wasn't an excuse. Playing for another day wasn't an option. There was a belief that wouldn't let them quit, and he ignited his team for what they thought was the greatest comeback in NBA playoff history at the time. And then Game 4 of the NBA Finals happened. I mean, what could you say about a team that sees a historic deficit on their home court as an opportunity to do something special? Greatness wasn't on their mind. They weren't thinking about the highlights, the headlines. They simply couldn't quit because it wasn't in their DNA as a team. Now, when you comparing Brunson and some of the great NBA Finals MVPs of the past 25 years, you can definitely make the case that he absolutely belongs. I mean, looking at LeBron James Heat titles, Shaq's 0-1 ring, KD and Golden State, you're going to zero in on his percentages, but I don't think that's fair. See, you're comparing him to 3 of the most efficient scoring threats in the past 2.5 decades. What goes unaccounted for is what Brunson does in clutch situations, late in games. He could be having a 7 of 22 night, a 5 of 18 night, and then explode for 13 points in the final minutes of the game to steal game 1. His team could be down 29 points, and he's going to have a quiet 15 in the second quarter to keep their hopes alive. Knock down a step back 3 over the tallest player, the defensive player of the year in the NBA. Others are going to point to his percentage and scream inefficient, but the film is going to call it undying will, the likes we haven't seen since Dwayne Wade in 2006. Now, because this is the era of parity and the era of super teams has officially been laid to rest, we got to look at how Jalen Brunson stacks up with the other finals MVPs of the 20s. Now, you can see SGA, Nikola Jokic, Steph Curry, Giannis Antetokounmpo, regular season MVP award winners. Jaylen Brown, SGA, Giannis, all defensive team members, defensive player of the years. Those type of players are in this mix, and Jalen Brunson stacks up just fine standing next to them. So the idea that a small guy cannot be a 1A when he is in a class of 1As and he does not feel like he's out of place, he doesn't look like he shouldn't be next to the others, I think it's time we officially give Jalen Brunson the respect he deserves as a top 10 player in the NBA. And after this NBA Finals, the case will be made that he creeps into the top 5. I am not a Knicks fan, and I might even classify myself as a hater. But you got to admit, as a sports fan, as a basketball fan, this is special. This is great for the NBA, and I'm happy for Knicks fans. Celebrate, turn up, but don't tear up your own city. Give this video a like, subscribe to the channel. Let me know in the comments, is this a historic Knicks run that could rival the other runs of the past 25 years? That's one more for the good guys.
I'm tired of being humble. I'm tired of letting people think they got a chance. This is my show. This